Hi, this is Denise with PaperKraftD, and today we're going to be making a journal closure like the one you see here out of glue sticks. So let's get started. So there's my Tim Holtz work surface, and what I've been using are, I got these little silicone molds from Martha Stewart. These were actually part of a set a long time ago for like paper, kind of like a paper mache type thing. But I thought, well, I had never really tried this Mod Podge high temp mini mod melts. So these are the things you can put into these silicone molds and make designs. I had never tried this, and I pulled it out. I wanted to try it. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't find my small glue gun. All I could find was my big glue gun. So with my big glue gun, I didn't have any. They don't make these for the big glue guns apparently. So I was just using this Aleene's all-purpose glue sticks. And I've got my heat gun already warmed up, ready to go. And I'm just gonna take and put it right in here. And I'm being really liberal about it. Matter of fact, this needs another stick. Oh. Okay. The only thing about these is that they're kind of short, so these Aleene's, and this takes a good amount of glue. So I'm just making sure that it's full all the way to the rim, even over full. Okay. And then I'm using this, this is a silicone covered, I don't know, it's like a pastry scraper thing. I got this at Hobby Lobby a while back. And I'm just taking and I'm evening out the back. It doesn't really matter that there's white stuff here, because that won't show eventually. Okay, so now that's, you can see it's nice and flat. It's not mounded. And then as it starts to dry, you can kind of take off some of this excess glue. Just kind of just rolls off. Try not to do too much. I found that it's good to do this while it's, you know, still not super hot but fairly warm, and it'll come off nice and evenly, and then you'll have less trimming to do once everything's dry. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna leave that like that. This is extra glue stick. It's just garbage. Okay, and then this is kind of like a rose cameo. So as long as I have the heat gun out, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one as well. No, this Okay, so just gonna, I love that suction sound. And just gonna pull this right out of here. And that's what that looks like when it's mostly dry. This one's still a little warm. I could probably, oh, I forgot to take off the edges on this one. Ah, should have done it when it was a little warmer. I'll have to do more trimming on that one. There we go, just pull that out of there. This one's still fairly warm, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out because it'll dry quicker. Okay, and then I can just get like a little, I like the Tim Holtz scissors because they're Teflon coated. And I'm just going to kind of trim around the edges a little bit. Just to kind of even them out. You can use your finger too if it's still cool or warm enough and it comes off that way. Do you see how it's a little rough on the edges there? So I'm just trimming that off. Okay. All right, I'll trim those up in a little bit. So the next step in this is that I take a little bit of this gesso, just some white gesso is fine. And I take a paintbrush. I just go over the whole thing. So, you know, first of all, you probably want to clean up your sheet where you've done all the trimming. So that would be the first part. Yeah, clean that up first so you don't get those little bits in here. So I think the advantage of these you know, those things that are designed to be put into the molds is that they're you know, they're opaque. I mean, they're white. So then, you know, it's just easy to paint. I mean, basically, by putting gesso on, you're kind of doing the same thing. I mean, these molds work just fine with any old kind of glue stick. Doesn't have to be the ones you buy specifically for this. What was that brand? The Mod Podge. Doesn't have to be the Mod Podge brand. You know, I guess the key here is just don't do it too thick because you want all those little grooves and whatnot to show up. And you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm getting all of the interior part here. There we go. All right, that looks good. I'm happy with that. Close that back up. And I'm just gonna wrap the brush tip in a wet baby wipe, just so that I don't have to go wash it right now. And then I'm gonna go through and trim the rest of these. Okay. And I'm just going to leave that out because I'm going to do some more with that. But I want to show you kind of what I've done with, so this is what it looks like when it's wet. And then I just went over the high points of this one with some rose gold wax. So that's an example of one that I did there. Here's an example of one of the frames with the rose gold. So those are examples of ones I've already completed. I wanted to try to use some gold wax on this one. Okay, just gonna zoom in a bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna try the gold this time around. And I'm just gonna take a tiny bit with my finger, just like that, and rub it over the top. And you can see just the raised edges pick up that color. The raised design, I guess I should say. There's like little beading and along the edges of this frame and leaves in the center. So it's kind of cool looking. All right. And I'm just going to kind of get the sides a little bit. Okay. There we go. So that's what you kind of end up with. I think it looks really pretty. Okay, and then, okay, so I just got a piece of chipboard. I think this was from a cereal box. And I took some book page. And just glued it on here. Okay, I'm going to mark where the opening is. There we go. All right, and then I'm just going to kind of find the center point here of this. There we go. So there's the center point. All right, so I want to make this a 1/2 inch. So I'll go here and here. Do the same thing on the other side. Find the center point. That's right here. 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to connect these two. Lines. And this will give us the crossbar. Okay. And let me get my cutting mat and my straight edge. And let's see, make sure I'm putting this down flat. All right, so I don't want to cut between these two lines because that is where my little bar here is going to be. All right, so I'm just going to go out. There we go. And go here. harder to see here, but it's right there. Here's the line and here's the line. And then okay. Oops. Okay, so I've made the first pass. Now it's just a matter of making more passes. Oh, I've got to go along here. It's better to make multiple shallow passes than to try to do it all at once. All right, there we go. Paint. Just this little crossbar with some gesso and kind of the interior here. There we go. So marginally easier to do it now before you glue that to it. And the gesso dries fairly quickly. Okay, so what's really nice about this is that I just did this other one with Fabri-Tac. I just glued this chipboard to it with Fabri-Tac and it worked out great. I was actually super happy with it. So I'm just gonna take and be kind of liberal with the Fabri-Tac. And then when I'm done, I can, when it's a little drier, I can just trim around all the edges. And I do that with my small little scissors. Just cut this off first. Okay, so when this dried, I just cut it out, you know, cut the, trimmed the excess chipboard. And then I went ahead and I used some gesso and covered up the entire back, made sure I got all of the little, you know, the sides to cover up all the chipboard. So I just wanted to show you how this closure looks on a journal. You can go, you know, anywhere on here. It doesn't have to go right there. And it's pretty easy to just come off. You could just slip the whole thing off like this if you'd like, if you want to keep it intact, or you can take this off. All I did was wrap this piece of ribbon around that middle bar there, and then I sewed it just to, you know, keep it together so it doesn't fall off. And I use some pinking shears, and you can do this so this falls underneath the ribbon, but I kind of like it a little askew like that. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna dye this ribbon a little bit or maybe do some stamping on it. I don't know. I mean, I like the real neutral look, but I might want a little bit more color than this is adding in there. So this is still somewhat a work in progress. I had shown you on the back how I had gessoed the back, and then I added some of that gold wax and all along the sides, so it just, you know, it looks just really nice. Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it looks really really cute on there. I hope you enjoyed this and found it useful, and try, you know, let me know if you've ever done this kind of work. This is really sturdy. I mean, by themselves, these are real flexible, so like that you could actually like form them around something. It would be actually pretty cool. So, you know, that's another option. But when they're mounted on this chipboard, boy, it's really, really sturdy. I mean, but still very lightweight. So really a nice option for, you know, using a closure and incorporating these into your journals. Just using a glue stick and a mold. I mean, super duper easy. So yeah, if you found this useful, please give my video a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe to my channel. Again, this is Denise with PaperKraftD, and craft on.